First, there were small protests over pension reforms. Well, now, 3 months on, more than 300 people have been killed following a wave of anti-government demonstrations across Nicaragua. The president of the Central American country, Daniel Ortega, is deeply unpopular with the protesters who want democratic reforms. They say the former revolutionary, now in his third consecutive term, needs to stand down. And they're calling for early elections. Arturo Wallace reports now from the capital, Managua.
Every morning they wait. Wives, mothers, grandmothers, hoping for news. The other side of these gates, Nicaragua's most infamous prison, El Chipote. 40 years ago, the Nicaraguan rebels known as the Sandinistas were tortured here. Now, under President Daniel Ortega, who helped lead the 1979 Sandinista revolution, the cells are filling up again. Hundreds are being held. Elida's 17-year-old son is one of them.
I am sad because I know my son needs me. What I want is for them to give me back my son, because he's innocent. That's what I beg for, to have him back.
He was one of hundreds of thousands who took to the streets to protest against President Ortega. What began as a stand against pension reforms snowballed into widespread civil unrest. So far, more than 350 have died, many of them students. Remembered on this busy roundabout in Nicaragua's capital. Álvaro Conrado was only 15. He was a child. His death was a catalyst. It led to hundreds of barricades appearing all over the country, a physical symbol of resistance, but also a powerful echo from the past, when Daniel Ortega and his Sandinista revolutionaries used these same cobblestones in the same way to overthrow Nicaragua's most infamous dictator, Anastasio Somoza. 40 years later, now as President Ortega, he sent in his police and paramilitaries. Here in Monimbo, there were barricades down every street. Now there's only rubble, and most of the people who were behind them are either in jail, in hiding, or dead. A protest leader agreed to meet us at a safe house.
Many people have been tortured or assassinated. There have been many disappearances. Many people's bodies have never been found.
So what does this mean for the protests?
Ortega is already defeated. That is a fact. He has lost the people. He has not international support. Eventually, he will be forced to negotiate his exit.
But that is not a feeling shared by President Ortega or the many thousands who joined him to celebrate Revolution Day.
What the government has done is what any government would have done.
Killing people?
I'm sorry?
Killing people?
It's not killing people, it's defending. The government did what they had to do. They cleared the barricades and death occurred.
He may say death just occurred, but President Ortega is facing rising international condemnation. He has refused to call early elections and says these are not paramilitaries, but volunteer policemen. And yet, despite the crackdown and rising death toll, protests continue. The future of Nicaragua is at stake, and neither side is willing to give up. Arturo Wallace, BBC News.